Have you heard people talking about machine learning but only have a fuzzy idea of what that means? Are you tired of nodding your way through conversations with co-workers? Let's change that. Welcome to another video of Code Wrestling, and this video is for anyone who is curious about machine learning but has no idea where to start. I imagine there are a lot of people who tried reading various articles, got frustrated and gave up wishing someone would just give them a high level explanation. And that's what this is. If this video gets anyone more interested in machine learning, then mission accomplished. So let's begin. Machine learning is the idea that there are generic algorithms that can tell you something interesting about a set of data without you having to write any custom code specific to the problem. Instead of writing code, you feed data to the generic algorithm and it builds its own logic based on the data. For example, one kind of algorithm is a classification algorithm. It can put data into different groups. The same classification algorithm used to recognize handwriting numbers could also be used to classify emails into spam and not spam without changing a line of code. It's the same algorithm, but it's fed different training data, so it comes up with different classification logic. This machine learning algorithm is a black box that can be reused for lots of different classification problems. Machine learning is an umbrella term covering lots of this kind of generic algorithms. Let's discuss about kinds of machine learning. So you can think of machine learning algorithm as falling into one of two main categories: supervised learning and unsupervised learning. The difference is pretty simple but really important. Let's start with supervised learning. Let's say you are a real estate agent. Your business is growing, so you hire a bunch of new trainee agents to help you out. But there's a problem. You can glance at a house and have a pretty good idea of what a house is worth, but your trainees don't have your experience, so they don't know how to price their houses. To help your trainees and maybe free yourself up for a vacation, you decide to write a little app that can estimate the value of a house in your area based on its size, neighborhood, etc., and what similar houses have sold for. So you write down every time someone sells a house in your city for 3 months. For each house, you write down a bunch of details: number of bedrooms, size in square feet, neighborhood, etc. But most importantly, you write down the final sale price. Using that training data, we want to create a program that can estimate how much any other house in your area is worth. And this is called supervised learning. You knew how much each house sold for. So in other words, you knew the answer to the problem and could work backward from there to figure out the logic. To build your app, you feed your training data about each house into your machine learning algorithm. The algorithm is trying to figure out what kind of math needs to be done to make the numbers work out. This kind of like having the answer key to a math test with all the arithmetic symbol erased. From this, can you figure out what kind of math problem were on the test? You know, you are supposed to do something with the numbers on the left to get each answer on the right. In supervised learning, you are letting the computer work out that relationship for you. And once you know what math was required to solve this specific set of problems, you could answer to any other problem of the same type. Now let's come to unsupervised learning. So let's go back to our original example with the real estate agent. What if you didn't know the sale price for each house? Even if all you know is the size, location, etc. of each house, it turns out that you can still do some really cool stuff. This is called unsupervised learning. This is kind of like someone giving you a list of numbers on a sheet of paper and saying, I don't really know what this number's been, but maybe you can figure out if there is a pattern or grouping or something that works. So what could you do with this data? For starters, you could have an algorithm that automatically identify different market segments in your data. Maybe you would find out that home buyers in the neighborhood near the local college really like small houses with lots of bedrooms, but home buyers in the suburbs prefer 3-bedroom houses with lot of square footage. Knowing about this different kind of customers could help direct your marketing effort. Another cool thing you could do is automatically identify any outlier houses that were way different than everything else. Maybe those outlier houses are giant mansions and you can focus your best salespeople on those areas because they have bigger commissions. Supervised learning is what we will focus on for the rest of this video, but that's not because unsupervised learning is any less useful or interesting. In fact, unsupervised learning is becoming increasingly important as the algorithms get better because it can be used without having to label the data with the correct answer. There are a lot of other types of machine learning algorithm, but this is a pretty good place to start. So that's cool. But does being able to estimate the price of a house really count as learning? As a human, your brain can approach most any situation and learn how to deal with that situation without any explicit instructions. If you sell houses for a long time, you will instinctively have a feel for the right price for a house, the best way to market that house, the kind of client who would be interested, etc. The goal of strong AI research is to be able to replicate this ability with computers. But current machine learning algorithms aren't that good yet. They only work when focused a very specific and a limited problem. Maybe a better definition for learning in this case is figuring out an equation to solve a specific problem based on some example data. Unfortunately, machine figuring out an equation isn't really a great name, so we ended up with machine learning instead. Of course, if you're watching this 50 years in the future and we have figured out the algorithm for strong AI, then this whole video will all seem a little quaint. Maybe just stop watching and go tell your robot servant to make a great sandwich for you. Anyway, so let's write that program. So how would you write the program to estimate the value of a house like in our example above? If you didn't know anything about machine learning, probably try to write out some basic rules for estimating the price of a house like this. There are a lot of if and else condition, and at the end you try to estimate the price and return the value of the price. If you fiddle with this for hours and hours, you might end up with something that sort of works, but your program will never be perfect and it will be hard to maintain as prices change. Wouldn't it be better if the computer could just figure out to implement this function for you? Who cares what exactly the function does as long as it returns the correct number? One way to think about this problem is that the price is a delicious food and the ingredients are the number of bedrooms, the square foot and the neighborhood. If you could just figure out how much each ingredient impact the final price, maybe there's an exact ratio of ingredients to stir in to make the final price. If you could just figure out the perfect way to use that work for every house, our function could predict house prices. That would reduce your original function with all those crazy ifs and elses down to something really simple like this. A dumb way to figure out the best weights would be something like this. So let's start with our step 1. That is, you put your each weight set to 1.0. Now, in the step 2, you try to calculate the actual sale price and your guess. Find the difference between them. So here for the first row, it is $72,000. That's how wrong your function currently is. Now take that sum total and divide it by total number of houses to get an average of how far off you are for each house. Call this average error amount the cost of your function. If you could get this cost to be 0 by playing with the weights, your function would be perfect. It would mean that in every case your function perfectly guessed the price of the house based on the input data. So that's our goal. Get this cost to be as low as possible by trying different weights. In the step 3, just repeat step 2 over and over with every single possible combination of weights. Whichever combination of weights makes the cost closest to 0 is what you use. When you find the weights that work, you have solved your problem. That's pretty simple, right? Well, think about what you just did. You took some data, you fed it through 3 generic, really simple steps, and you ended up with a function that can guess the price of any house in your area. But here's a few more facts that will blow your mind. Research in many fields like linguistic translation over the last 40 years have shown that these generic learning algorithms that play around with these numbers outperform approaches where real people try to come up with explicit rules themselves. The dumb approach of machine learning eventually beats human experts. The function you ended up which is totally dumb, it doesn't even know what square feet or bedrooms are. All it knows is that it needs to stir in some amount of those to get the correct answer. It's very likely you will have no idea why a particular set of weights will work, so you have just written a function that you don't really understand, but that you can prove will work. So now what about the whole try every number bit in step 3? Okay, of course you can't just try every combination of all possible weights to find the combo that works the best. That would literally take forever since you would never run out of numbers to try. To avoid that, mathematicians have figured out lots of clever ways to quickly find good values for those weights without having to try very many. Here's one way. First, write a simple equation that represents step 2. Now let's rewrite exactly the same equation but using a bunch of machine learning math jargon that you can ignore for now. Here theta is what represents your current weight and j of theta means the cost of your current weight. This equation represents how wrong our price estimating function is for the weights we currently have set. If we graph this cost equation for all possible values of our weights for number of bedrooms and square foot, we would get a graph that might look something like this. In this graph, the lowest point in blue is where our cost is the lowest, thus our function is the least wrong. The highest point are where we are most wrong. So if we can find the weights that get us to the lowest point on this graph, we will have our answer. So we just need to adjust our weights so we are walking downhill on this graph towards the lowest point. If we keep making small adjustment to our weights that are always moving towards the lowest point, we will eventually get there without having to try too many different weights. If you remember anything from calculus, you might remember that if you take the derivative of a function, it tells you the slope of the function's tangent at any point. In other words, it tells us which way is downhill for any given point on our graph. We can just use that knowledge to walk downhill. So if we calculate a partial derivative of our cost function with respect to each of our weight, then we can subtract that value from each weight that will walk us one step closer to the bottom of the hill. Keep doing that and eventually we will reach the bottom of the hill and have the best possible values for our weights. If that didn't make any sense, don't worry and keep watching. That's a high level summary of one way to find the best weights for your function called batch gradient descent. When you use a machine learning library to solve a real problem, all of this will be done for you, but it's still useful to have a good idea of what is happening. The 3-step algorithm I described is called multivariate linear regression. You are estimating the equation for a line that fits through all of your house data points. Then you are using that equation to guess the sales price of house you have never seen before based where that house would appear on your line. It's a really powerful idea and you can solve real problems with it. But while the approach I showed you might work in simple cases, it won't work in all the cases. One reason is because house prices aren't always simple enough to follow a continuous line. But luckily, there are a lot of ways to handle that. There are plenty of other machine learning algorithms that can handle non-linear data like neural networks or SVMs with kernels. There are also ways to use linear regression more cleverly that allow for more complicated lines to be fit. In all cases, the same basic idea of needing to find the best weight still applies. Also, I ignored the idea of overfitting. It's easy to come up with a set of weights that always works perfectly for predicting the price of the house in your original data set, but never actually works for any new house that weren't in your original data set. But there are ways to deal with this, like regularization and using a cross-validation dataset. Learning how to deal with this issue is a key part of learning how to apply machine learning successfully. In other words, while the basic concept is pretty simple, it takes some skill and experience to apply machine learning and get useful results. But it's a skill that any developer can learn. So now, is machine learning magic? Once you start seeing how easily machine learning techniques can be applied to problems that seem really hard, you start to get the feeling that you could use machine learning to solve any problem and get an answer as long as you have enough data. Just feed in the data and watch the computer magically figuring out the equation that fits the data. But it's important to remember that machine learning only works if the problem is actually solvable with the data that you have. For example, if you build a model that predicts home prices based on the type of the plants you have in each house, it's never going to work. There just isn't any kind of relationship between the plants in each house and the home's sales price. So no matter how hard it tries, the computer can never deduce a relationship between the two. So remember, if a human expert couldn't use the data to solve the problem manually, a computer probably won't be able to do either. Instead, focus on problem where a human could solve the problem, but where it would be great if a computer could solve it much more quickly. So it was just a high level introduction to machine learning. Thank you so much for having patience and staying till the end of the video. If you want to learn more, then stay tuned with us. If you like my work and the way I explain, then please support our channel. Do like, subscribe, share and comment. Also, if you never want to miss any new videos from us, then don't forget to hit the bell icon. You can visit us at www.codewrestling.com or write to us at codewrestling@gmail.com. Join us on Instagram and Telegram channel. See you in next video. Till then, happy learning!